Good Tuesday, everybody, and welcome once again to another edition of Pins on Campus, where we're going to talk college bowling and anything else that we want to talk about. Yeah, I'm flying solo right now because Jonathan is having technology issues. All right. It says device not connected. I'm not really sure what that means. I don't even know if he can hear me. But he was on just a few moments ago and has suddenly disappeared. Let's see if I can reach out to him and find out technology-wise. It's not like, I could have rebooted and here. Is he back? All right, he's back. You're back.
Here.
What was that all about? Oh, now I can't hear you. Come on, our first show back, and you don't have stuff.
All right. Here we go.
All right, you're dialed in now. What the heck was that?
The equipment's a little dusty, Mark. So we had to get everything going.
Okay. Coach Hayes is cracking up already, man. First show back, and we don't even have things dialed in. I had things dialed in on my side. All right, but it is what it is, man. You're wearing a lot of hats now.
Yeah.
Even though it's summertime, you got a lot going on.
I do have a lot going on. Taking on a little bit more responsibility at DBU in the athletic department. So overseeing business operations now, in addition to all of the club sport programs, and overseeing what is still my pride and joy, the bowling program. So it's got a lot more responsibilities on my plate nowadays.
Yeah, me too. I'm doing the same thing. Like, I'm trying to tune in my crankbait game compared to my Carolina rigging, to my topwater bites. All right.
You got a lot going on.
Been doing a lot of fishing, and obviously we talk all the time, and I'm just like, man, am I missing out on something? What's going on here, man? You're like grinding, and I'm out catching 4-pounders. I mean, what's going on?
Hey, you got to do what you got to do, right? You're enjoying your time on the water. I can say I'm enjoying my time in the office, at least.
But you are.
We have a good time. We get a lot of impactful work done for our student athletes.
You're only a quarter of a century old.
Only. That's it. Got a long way to go, hopefully.
Long way to go, man. Long way to go. Hopefully you will get to the point where you can continue to work and fish and bowl and be happy.
That's right.
Which is what we try to do with one of the subjects that we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about recruiting. We're going to talk about recruits. We're going to talk about do's and don'ts. We're going to talk about some of the challenges from a recruiting standpoint, from a recruit standpoint, from a parent standpoint, and just from a be nice standpoint. That might be the biggest subject that we discuss. And I'm glad to see that Coach Hayes is on here, because I know he definitely feels the same way that we do about certain topics when it comes to recruiting. His recruiting goals and aspirations a little bit tougher in a perspective that he's recruiting for an NCAA program on the women's side and trying to maintain his men's program too, where you and I both are doing men and women, but we're doing the USBC collegiate thing. So I thought to come back, because you and I are getting ready to go into some serious recruiting scenarios over the next 2 months. And we're not talking about junior gold either, even though you're going to be there. I'm not. Yeah. I will be watching with my 12 monitors in my office with all the live streams going on. But June and July, we're going to talk about how important June and July is for both the boys and the girls. If you're a current, or let's simplify thing, we're already in 2027. If you are currently a junior or a senior, very, very important summer for you. Agree, Jonathan?
100%.
Now, I'm going to make some comparisons here, and I'm hopeful that the people that listen to this, and even I think you will understand what I'm trying to say. When I was heavily involved in basketball, we called it the chase. And what the chase was is you had players and parents that all they were doing the entire summer, they were chasing scholarship money. And what I mean by that is they were doing every single AAU tournament, showcase event, whatever they could to get their kid discovered. All right. Now, the way I classify that, I do the same thing in bowling. And you tell me if I'm wrong, Jonathan. We know, at least we've discussed, I know I classify the women's side, the girls' side, in 3 categories. All right, the first category, top of the line, they are NCAA bound. We have a very, very, 0.5% chance or less in recruiting a top NCAA bound player. Agree?
Agreed.
Very identifiable, very good. And it's not that we don't have the resources from a practice facility. Obviously, I mean, you've got some of the best resources in the nation. It's a matter of cost. It's a matter of scholarship money available. And it's just a matter of opportunity that exists on the NCAA side at the top level, Division I. Agree?
Agreed.
All right. And we're talking specifically about the women's side now. Now, the second classification I have is what I refer to as the small school blue blood category, where when you look at a player, when you look at video or whether you're there in person, that they have the ability currently, they have the ability to where most likely they could step in, and if they work really hard, they could be a contributing student athlete to that program immediately. Agree or disagree?
Yep.
All right, got to work hard. Nothing's guaranteed. You have to, totally believe in whatever the work ethic and what the coach is trying to accomplish with the team goals that he or she is trying to achieve, of which you will definitely have the opportunity to take part in that depending on how hard you work. All right. And then the third classification I have is the available ones. All right. And what I mean by available is you and I both know that there are women, girls, juniors, seniors, sophomores out there that currently have not been in the game that long, but have an enormous amount of potential.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Or on a rare occasion, you get a student athlete that really sees what you're trying to accomplish and believes in you and believes in the program and believes in what you're trying to accomplish. Even though she might be in that small school blue blood category, she believes and her family believes in what you're trying to accomplish, not just from a bowling standpoint, but in a life standpoint. All right. So that's kind of the pool that recruits can kind of, get in there. And let's face it, come on, superstars are superstars. They're going to end up in Conference USA. I don't think there's a coach out there that would disagree on that most of the time. All right. Now, do you have superstars that just don't want to be in that environment? Because it's really hard. It is not what people think it is. You are a Division I NCAA athlete, and you work your tail off a lot. All right. Now, you're probably on a full ride, and all the research and the people that I've spoken with, and Coach Hayes, you could speak up on the chat anytime you want. But for the most part, that's where all your D1 full rides take place.
Specifically on the D1 side on the NCAA. I think a lot of people just assume that, NCAA women's bowling, that's where all the scholarship is. And there's plenty of it. But as far as the full rides are concerned, you're talking about your big D1 schools like Vanderbilt, Nebraska, places like that. And so your D2 NCAA programs, while they do have some money they can allocate, and they're going to have, a full competition schedule and pretty good resources, those are two completely different things. I know that much.
You're dead on. All right. And I see no comments from Coach Hayes, so I'm assuming that we're dead on that. And then you have the other opportunity for players out there that can get what I would refer to as substantial scholarship money, to where you can stack your athletic scholarship with your academic money, with any other money that you might have available to get a great education and get an opportunity to be what I call a prime player right away. All right. But once again, it goes back to what I said earlier. It's how hard you want to work, how dedicated you want to be, how much do you want to really dedicate yourself in being a student athlete?
Right.
All right. He said NAIA has some big players too. And I agree. I agree, because there are a number of full rides in the NAIA perspective, once again, depending on the program.
I think and we might be getting into this, but I think as far as the NAIA is concerned, when it comes to bowling, I think you're going to start to see some big names and some really talented players make a college bowling career at some NAIA schools.
Agree.
I mean, it already happens a little bit, but I'm talking wider scale.
Yeah.
I think with the money that's available, the conference alignments they have, the competition schedules they can deploy, it's very attractive to some really high level talent coming out of high school.
Great point.
And we know that helps a lot. Of course, you want to be able to develop your players and do those things as well. But I think you're going to see some big names, some big recruits go the NAIA route, specifically on the men's side. But it might happen a little bit on the women's side as well.
Yeah,
depending on what they're looking for.
We haven't got to the guys part
yet.
But haven't got to the guys part. We're still on the women's part.
But I think that goes on both sides. I think there's if you're talking about, if you're not one of those full ride students going to a big D1 NCAA school, and you might get substantial D2, or you're kind of between that and some NAIA money, then that NAIA deal might look a little more attractive, especially if you're more concerned about your academics as well. Because like you said, Mark, the NCAA practice and competition schedule is pretty rigorous.
It's big time.
Yeah.
Right. It is big time. And would you agree that Conference USA is pretty much the SEC of women's college bowling?
Mm-hmm. When 9 out of the top 10 schools are in Conference USA, that tells you something.
So I'm going to go back to the term that I had us high school basketball coaches had, chasers. All right. You have parents that pay and spend during the summer. This is no joke. I am not exaggerating, Jonathan, between $5,000 and $10,000 a summer chasing scholarship money, where if they didn't chase it, they could take that money and actually put it toward their education. But they're looking for that scholarship. And the realization is this: 90% of those kids don't end up getting anywhere near a full ride. They just don't.
Yeah.
Right? Now,
I would say too, like if you're a senior out of high school and this is the summer before you're going, if you're still chasing scholarship money in pretty much every sport, there's not going to be a lot available.
No.
Coaches have already kind of filled out their roster. They may still be hoping some Ivy camps. And
the portal has changed that.
Yeah, all that stuff. Junior year, summer, between junior and senior year, though, like I think, yes, you can do some activities, do some ID camps and prospect showcases that will help you. But when you're talking about spending that much money, your return on investment is not going to be as great as maybe you would hope.
It's crazy. And I did the AAU thing for almost 8 years. And I would have parents get upset at me when their kid wouldn't get playing time because the Abilene Christian coach was in the crowd or something like that. And I cut that out real quick. But I want to take the chaser and I want to put that in a bowling perspective. Look, all right, you either agree or disagree, and let me give you your thoughts on this. I'm telling you right now, folks, if you are a girl, a freshman, sophomore, even a junior, and you want a big chunk of your tuition paid for, and you love bowling, your opportunities right now in this current environment are endless. Agree or disagree?
100%.
And if it's funny because there are certain social media platforms that are out there where people throw their videos out there and they try and, I'm telling you here, this is Mark Jeffrey's advice to those players. There's not a college coach in the country, and if I'm wrong, you tell me I'm wrong, right? With the exception of the D1 coaches, of the big-time coaches, there's not a coach in the country that if you sent a video along with a very professional email formatted properly with good intentions of really learning what the academic offerings are, what the school environment is, and what the bowling program is like. If there is a school out there that you are attracted to, there's not a single coach out there that's not going to listen. Agree or disagree?
Agreed.
So I'm throwing some advice out there that if you see something that is appealing, even to the blue bloods, both on the men's and the women's side, all right, where it differs with other sports, you got to make the move, okay? Because if you're classified a superstar, everybody's going to know about you. But if you're somebody that is in that tier 2 or tier 3, and you really want to bowl in college and you love what the academic opportunities are at this specific university, and they happen to have a bowling program, and it's really good. It's the environment that you want to be in. It's, you know, you got your bullet point, you got the list, and you check every box off, then that's on you. That's on you. And and if you really want to get your name out there and have coaches know about your game, that's what you got to do. Look, I dealt with recruiting services for years. Okay? And there are positives to those recruiting services. But I'm telling you, folks, right now, in this game and in this sport, your best action to pursue a scholarship opportunity in collegiate bowling is to reach out to the coach. Be assertive, be aggressive, and showcase what you have to offer.
Yep.
And then see if it's a good fit.
Yep.
See if it's a good fit. So am I wrong, Jonathan?
No, I'm gonna take that a step further in a couple different scenarios, because I think there's a few major touch points here. My dad coached high school bowling here locally in the Dallas area for 10 years. And, as he had seniors graduate, he had a couple that were good enough to bowl at the collegiate level if they pursued it. But in scenario one, I'm talking about the students who may have bowled in high school who, might average in, the 160s to 180s range. There were some great academics in that group. And they would go to big schools like Purdue, and I know that Purdue's got a good bowling program. We found that out this year. But big state schools who have, purely club-based programs, but strongly encourage them to message the student organizer, the volunteer coach, if they happen to have a coach, wherever, to join that team and to keep bowling. Because we want to see youth bowlers keep going at it no matter how long they want to do it, right? And then what you're talking about is the chasers, which I think is that next tier, the 180s to 210 average bowlers coming out of high school. They're going to be the ones that, honestly, and Mark, you said it best, the power of what they want to do with collegiate bowling is in their own hands.
It is.
Right? They have the ability to reach out to any program. And I'm not saying that, a 190 bowler is going to make the eyebrows raise on a blue blood coach, but if they're looking to fill out roster spots, if they're looking for a specific type of bowler, and it even helps if you're a great academic, because coaches are always looking to add that to their programs.
Yeah.
Then if you pick up the phone and make a call, if you send an email, if you send a social media message to either the team account or that coach's personal account, you're going to be held you're going to have a conversation with them, right? And you're going to find out more about the program. But it's also the student's responsibility to ask, interactive questions while you have the coach's time, whether that's virtually, whether that's on campus, which is always the best option, right? It keeps going back to the same thing, Mark, what you're talking about. The power is in the hands of the recruits. It's as much as you want to make it. But how many times in the show have we also talked about just because you got 30 minutes or an hour of a coach's time, that communication needs to keep going. If you're aggressive and you really want to be part of a program, message that coach all the time. Mark will tell you, we talk to hundreds of recruits throughout the year, right? Mm-hmm. Every now and then an email gets slept, down in the bottom of the inbox, and we need it popped back up. If you're a recruit that's being aggressive, you're consistently talking to, hey, coach, what's your timeline look like? Do you have any other questions for me? Maybe updating that coach on what you're actively bowling in, maybe sending some updated videos, keeping that conversation line open. So when the coach is sitting down figuring out what they're going to do roster-wise, your name's right there at the top of the list. I prefer student athletes, and I've had this conversation with the rest of my coaching staff at DBU. I prefer student athletes who keep that long-form dialogue with us.
Mm-hmm.
What are you up to? How are your academics going? What are you weighing your options between, like, what's important to you? And we keep that dialogue going. We have a really good judge of character for both the student athlete and their family, which is important to us. But then also, when that student shows up in August, we feel like we already know them. And that has other leaps and bounds to why that can be successful. But I think if you're going to sum it up in one sentence or a short idea, is just the recruit holds the power, and it's up to you to take advantage of that opportunity. Not your parents, you as the recruit.
And when you say the power, you're talking about the ability to showcase what they have to offer to programs across the country.
Yeah, the ability to find exactly what you want.
Yeah.
Like there's going to be maybe some universities, let's say you want to study aviation, right? Not every bowling school is going to have aviation. There may be a really small group, and they might not be your most competitive teams. But if that's important to you and you're reaching out to those coaches, you're going to find a great opportunity. And I think it's also important to say, talking on the subject, that academics is still the most important piece of the whole discussion. You got to find an academic fit and a cultural fit for you as a student. That should be number one, because there's bowling everywhere. There's 200 plus programs in the country you can be a part of, right? So what's going to separate all those? And don't say scholarship money. That's not the answer. The answer is the right fit for you as a student athlete and where you're going to have the best student athlete experience, because it's the student athlete experience that makes the difference at the end of the day. Because, Mark, I know we want the same things. We want to see our student athletes graduate. We want to see them be successful. We want them to be happy and be proud of the career they're starting and make a good living doing it.
Yeah.
It starts with that part right there at the beginning.
Yeah. Now, I know you've spoke to some recruits already this summer, and so have I. And I got into a conversation with one, and he never really looked at it this way. But I asked him this question. I go, how many teams won a national championship this year in USBC Collegiate? And he said, 1. I said, okay. I said, how many roster spots do you think they have available? He goes, I don't know. I said, what? 4, 5, whoever it was, whatever team that wins a national championship? Yeah. I said, right now, do you think that you could compete for one of those roster spots on that national championship team? And he goes, right now, I don't think so. I said, and how many teams won a national championship? 1. Okay. How important is winning? Because there's only one true winner in the entire season. So if you're going to base your decision specifically on being on a winner, you have really limited your choices, because there's only one winner. One. Now, what you should be concerned about and what you should really be focused on is the process that you go through to give yourself an opportunity to win. That's what's important. Because, I mean, how many kids have you talked to? I mean, even this being my 4th year where, I want to win. I want to win. I want to win. Well, yeah, winning is cool, but you know what? There's only one team that wins. One. Yep. And I know you can throw in there, well, we won this tournament and we won that tournament and won. But if you're wanting to be that winner, there's one.
Yep.
So it's more about the process. And I've really kind of defined my recruiting tactic to focus the effort and the emphasis on the process, both academically and competitively, because I mean, we're going to talk about it. I know it's going to come up. The school versus school competitiveness is off the charts.
Mm-hmm.
And both of our teams, both of our programs and other programs have said that is the most competitive environment that they've ever had in their collegiate bowling experience.
Yeah. And that's what I'm talking about when I reference the student athlete experience. Some people probably don't know what it is, but when you get into the weeds of it, it's the university in which you're a part of, the pride you have for that school, the things you're involved in, the friends that you make. But then in addition, and we're lucky enough, Mark, that we're supported by our athletics departments, right? And that brings a whole nother experience with it. You have access to the resources that as a true student athlete would need. So you combine those things together, that's what's providing a fantastic or, A+ student athlete experience. And, I'll share a little bit about what I talked to some of my other club head coaches at DBU about. And we know that we're not the most inexpensive option out there for any of our club sports, right? But we hold confidently that we can provide a really, really outstanding student athlete experience from the resources that we can provide our club sport athletes.
Mm-hmm.
And I have found that if we start that discussion early in the recruiting process, it helps athletes and their families understand, exactly the return on investment that becomes. Because I'm not handing out full rides. I know you're not handing out full rides.
Yeah.
So people are paying to come to our institution, and they're hopefully coming to get a great education and develop as a servant leader, but they're going to bowl as well. That's another reason they're there.
Mm-hmm.
And if we talk about what the return on the investment to that version of higher education looks like for them at the beginning, I can qualify in 5 to 10 minutes if that student athlete is still going to be on our prospective list or not. Because we'll get into great discussions about what do you want to do with your career? What do you want to be involved in? Like, what's important to you? What's high on your moral compass? We get into some of those conversations, and we look at the clock and 20 minutes have passed, 30 minutes are passed. And then we're like, all right, we better get to the ins and outs about collegiate bowling at DBU.
Yeah.
And the rapport we're able to develop with those student athletes, with their parents, it's a development piece, and it helps us make a great judge of character, which is important. We're lucky right now, Mark, that we're not in the same situation that a lot of our major sports are in, like football, basketball, baseball, where you're a coach calling up recruits and you're getting agents.
Yeah.
Right? And I feel for the guys that have to do that, because you're not getting a chance to talk to the student athlete and their families. You can't make that judge of character. You can't get to understand them from a personal level. And if you're talking to an agent, there's a reason, Mark. Money, right?
Well, that's what it's turned into.
And who knows? In a short period of time, we might see that trickle down to the bowling world. I sure hope not. But at the rate we're trending, who knows? But, I mean, I still think that the student-athlete experience should be one of the main points of recruiting. But I say all that to empower recruits to ask questions about that. Ask deeper questions about the academic programs. Ask deeper questions about university involvement. You can get a lot of great information and a pretty good discussion, even in the virtual landscape.
Yes.
I know you do virtual tours. We have a composite video that we use for that resource as well. Kind of helps outline all that stuff. Now, granted, still the best thing you can do is put your boots on the ground on the campus or a couple campuses that you're thinking about attending, because you are going to call that home for a little period of time. So you want to be comfortable there. But I empower student athletes, specifically bowlers, dive deep into questions about the experience as a student athlete. What's the expectations of me? What kind of resources do I receive? How does athletics and academics work together at your institution? We're outstanding. We're extremely happy when we get a recruit that asks us that, because then we know, okay, this is the kind of individual that we're looking for. Because if the first sentence out of your mouth for us is, well, how much scholarship money do you guys offer? The success rate on them eventually in attending our university?
Yeah.
Under 5%.
Yeah.
So we have to, and there's fits for you out there if that's what you're looking for. It's going to be hard.
Yeah.
But good luck. We'll help you. We'll get you in contact with our coaches if you want. But I don't say this just because this is what we have at DBU or this is what you have in SNU, but it goes beyond just the making sense of the dollar, right? It goes beyond just the bottom line of the scholarship money, especially if you're being provided equipment and other resources.
Mm-hmm.
Part of that, you got to look at the true bottom line. So, long-winded answer there, but I feel like that's really good information for prospective student athletes of all kinds, but specifically in the club sports realm and specifically in the bowling realm to think about as they, are in this summer recruiting process, no matter what year of high school you've just completed.
Yeah. Don't be a chaser. You don't have to be a chaser in this game. You know what you have to be? You have to be an investigator. All right. Invest in the time to do research and see what programs that you feel would have a good fit, and then assert yourself.
Yep.
You're never going to know unless you ask.
Do your due diligence. I have a 12-8-4 model. I don't know if I've shared this with you, Mark. I don't think I've talked about it. The 12-8-4 model. I tell bowlers who, if they're just starting out their search on where they want to bowl in college, I said, you're going to look up and get your list of 12 schools. 12 schools that have the academic program you're looking for, unless you are a very finite academic track, and that list might be smaller. But let's say you're studying business, okay? You're going to find 12 schools that you would think about attending, either from a geographical sense, a financial sense, or maybe a family member sense if you had a parent that went somewhere. You're going to get a list of 12 schools. You reach out to those 12 schools and schedule meetings with their coaches. After you have those meetings with the coaches, you're going to narrow that down to 8. You're going to find 8 programs that could potentially be a fit for you, but you got to do a little bit more investigation. Talk with your parents, talk about academic programs, a little bit more about financial. Then you're going to cut that list down to 4. When you get that list down to 4, then you do in-person campus visits. You pin the coaches up against each other, asking for offer letters. You have 4 schools to make a decision from.
Like that.
That model is very successful if you start that process between your sophomore and junior year of high school, because you have plenty of time to start a relationship with or a conversation with a coach early, have them follow you for a period of time, but it also gives you a lot of time to, as a family, make important decisions. We're talking about significant financial decisions here in a lot of cases. And so, that's something that takes more than just a 3-month conversation typically. So to have that time to flesh some of those things out, find the right fit, and not feel rushed about it.
I know the Junior Gold experience, for a lot of kids, that's a big deal and everything like that. Sometimes it becomes a little bit overwhelming. And I think sometimes some parents and some student athletes actually put more emphasis on, well, we're just going to wait till Junior Gold. We're going to talk to schools at Junior Gold. We're going to do this and do that. When it really comes down to it, the functionality of what you are doing at Junior Gold is competing. It's like, that's just, sprinkling on top of the sundae there. The fact that you do get the showcase event where you can go around and you can talk to several of the coaches, and they have displays and they have handouts and all that and everything. But the primary objective at Junior Gold should be you're there to compete.
Yep.
This gives you an opportunity. You don't have to wait for Junior Gold. You don't have to wait for an SYC and see how many coaches are going to show up. You don't have to wait for whatever event is taking place. Reach out, connect.
Because there's a lot of coaches, including myself, I prefer, and if you're an NCAA athlete, you can't. But as a coach, I don't like, in the middle of competition, talking to prospective students and interrupting their competition time.
Won't do that.
It's especially Junior Gold. That's a stressful enough situation with a lot of stuff going on. a conversation I have with you mid-practice session or pre or post block, how much of that is the student athlete going to remember? Very little.
Yeah.
And I find even sometimes, depending on the environment or the tournament, even the parents, they're very focused in on their son or daughter's performance, right? You could chat with them a little bit, but how much are they going to remember? Very little. Now, will they keep your business card and call you back? Maybe, right?
Yeah.
Now, we're lucky with Junior Gold that we get the trade show and we get to do all that. But if you think about it, there's also a couple thousand people walking through trying to talk to you in a 12-hour period, 12-hour period. Yeah. You're not going to get that much quality time with these coaches in that environment either. So like Mark is saying, the best thing you can do is reach out. Say, hey, can I get an hour of your time on the phone? Can we schedule a virtual tour? You'll get to see an advertisement on all these teams and coaches at Junior Gold. But the fruit that's going to come out of those conversations and that not going to be a lot.
Yeah.
Environment.
All right. Let me get your thoughts on this. I think one of the things that is very challenging for student athletes is and I don't know if support is the right word, but the influence and direction from high school coaches and high school bowling. There are pockets of the country where high school coaches do a great job. Mm-hmm. But I cannot tell you how many times that I have worked my way and found out who a particular player's high school coach was. And he said, oh, well, this is the first time I've ever talked to a college coach that's ever reached out to me. And then you know what my response is? Well, how many have you reached out to? Well, none. Well, I mean, can you imagine being a high school coach in any other sport and not trying to get some of your players those scholarship opportunities, be it D2, NAIA, or if you have a player that's talented, that's probably going to be D1, he or she has already been discovered. But I think that's part of what we have to teach in the youth programs and the tournament even the tournament directors is you have to approach the opportunities that exist by guiding and directing these student athletes in the direction of pursuing college bowling if that is what they want to do. Agree or disagree? Agreed.
And I think a lot of that is just because the bowling culture. It's a lot of ego and it's not a lot of want to help others, unfortunately. I mean, in different environments, it's different. But what we come across, Mark, is a lot of the same things. Those coaches are not really, unfortunately, not concerned about helping the youth as much as they should be in those situations. Yeah. They're worried about their own record as a high school
and granted, coach. Some of them are volunteers, but I'm telling you, if you are in that environment, that should be a priority in your job.
And I could say in our local area here, where we're lucky, is the youth league coordinators are very involved in that process because a lot of them are also the district coordinators for the high school districts. Yeah. And, they do a good job of updating us coaches on, I got a big senior class and we're having this tournament here this day, or even, hey, we have 2 matches going on at the same time on this Saturday afternoon, really good schools, come watch. We get alerted to those things, and that's incredible opportunities for us to see a wide variety of bowlers. And what I like about that is nobody's pre-qualifying the bowlers we're going to recruit, right? We get to judge with our own eyes and ears the student athletes that we're seeking out, right? And it's not just a coach, I got a guy here you're really going to like, because there could be a situation where that high school coach thinks this kid is really, really good, but may not be a great fit for our institution. And we're going to tell the coach, hey, we've decided we're not going to keep recruiting him. I don't know if this happened to you, Mark, but I've had it happen to me. Then those coaches get super defensive. Yeah. Well, I'm not going to bring you any more people because this is a really quality athlete. Whatever. Right. And that's just the kind of stuff I'm talking about. So kudos to all the high school coaches, high school district coordinators, youth league coordinators, even around the country that actively pursue what you're talking about and getting their youth bowlers opportunities, not pre-qualifying them for certain things, but opportunities to have their students bowl in college.
So high school bowling, a little different in Oklahoma than it is in Texas. It's much more I don't even know what the right word, prevalent, I guess, in the state of Texas than it is Oklahoma. I'm curious, have you ever had a high school coach call you and say, hey man, I got, John Smith over here. You probably haven't seen him. But I think the next practice we have, you might want to come by and check him out, because in basketball, during what was classified the open period, the open door period, there were a lot of terms for it.
Yeah.
That you would be able to bring in coaches and they would actually watch some of your players during practice and stuff like that. I have yet to have that take place here in Oklahoma. Now, I have had people that are involved with youth bowling in Oklahoma say, hey, you need to come to the state tournament and watch so-and-so. Well, that's not the same. What I'm saying is, man, you got a player, come watch him in practice, watch his work ethic, watch how, he interacts within his team, and you really get a good vibe on what this kid is like. Has that happened to you?
Yes, in a sense. Now, I will say I do prefer what you're talking about with coming to practice because of the things you referenced, how they interact with their teammates, how they interact with their coaches, because it's not just their online performance and their physical talent that's important. We know that. Bowling is a team sport, right? We have to have the intangible assets. But we've had high school coaches say, hey, I got 3 graduating seniors. Here's some video of them throwing shots at the last high school match we had. We have another match on this day. Mm-hmm. So we've gotten that, and we get copies of high school schedules all the time. And there are certain teams around the area that are known for having pretty decent rosters, and so we'll kind of make a point to do that. But being invited to practice would be a really good habit for some of these coaches to get into, because it's a more relaxed environment. You really get to see the student athlete and how they interact, and that's important. Not that you can't teach some of those things, but there's a lot of things that are just instinctual. So if you could get a glimpse of that in the recruiting process, that'd be important. But I could see how, and Coach Hayes said it pretty well, Oklahoma's more recreational.
Yeah,
I can see that not happening to you in Oklahoma as much as it does here. But you referenced the state tournament, and the Texas high school state tournament is notorious for college coaches in attendance, right? And it's just because the talent level is really good on both the men's and women's side. So there's plenty to see and watch. But I'll say the difference is when we attend those events, coaches of these teams aren't afraid to go approach us.
Right.
Hey, I see you here. I got a bowler you might be interested in. We're down on 25 and 26. You want to come watch for a few minutes. I've had that happen multiple times at the high school state tournament.
Yeah.
It's actually turned into some pretty good recruits that we've had on our team since. So again, kudos to those coaches too, are taking that initiative and knowing, hey, in my environment, I got some college coaches here right now. I'm going to try to get this student athlete a little bit of exposure.
Okay. So I'm going to go through the cycle here and you help me out. All right. Where does the evolution of a bowler start? It's when they're young, right? They get exposed to the game either through their parents or their friends, or maybe, during the summer they went and, they catch the bug and they're like, oh, this is kind of cool. Agree? I mean, that's kind of how it starts, and then it begins to evolve. Then they get their own shoes, they get their own ball, they start practicing, they join a league, and then they progress to maybe, a year or two, they start bowling tournaments. And then they get involved with the youth programs across the country. And then if they go to high school, depending on where they are in the country, then they bowl in high school and it becomes very competitive. And then if they're good enough, they end up going to college, and then they bowl in college. And then if they graduate, heaven forbid they go out and try to bowl on tour, because that's, a very non-lucrative way to earn a living currently, that they go into the professional world, whatever they studied. And you know what they do? If they really love the game, they keep bowling, and they keep bowling league. Mm-hmm. So to get from the point where they started out when they went and they had a fun day during the summer when they were a kid, to the point that they're a college graduate, they got a big time job after graduation, and they're still bowling league, and they might be bowling, a regional here and there, or bowling a local tournament. They're still active. So the growth of the game starts where?
Starts in the bowling center when these kids are coming in.
Exactly. So why is there not a point of emphasis in making the game better from an activity standpoint, in really pursuing the activity that takes place with the younger kids, of where there is truly a streamlined direction to keep students into professionals? And when I say professionals, I'm talking about after graduation, not professional bowlers. That cycle keeps this game growing and going. Am I wrong?
You're right. There is some of that, but not enough. And let me get into that for a second. So a local high school coach and a friend of mine who was kind of a mentor as I was growing up, coached me a little bit, Louis Benavides. He works a lot with the local independent school districts on the Bowlers Ed program, which is where they have the pin sets and the bowling lane mats and the rubber bowling balls and stuff, to have that integrated and part of the PE curriculum at middle schools and elementary schools. And I had the honor to speak at one of these events he was hosting at a local bowling center, where I think it was 2 school districts. They each had their PE staffs come out to the bowling center, a real bowling center, and bowl a sweeper style tournament. And I got to bowl with them and talk with them. And I got to speak in a kind of like a forum session they had. And when I talked about the avenue for these students to eventually bowl in college, everybody's eyebrows went up. They're like, what are you talking about? And I said, there's scholarship money out there, but most importantly, there's a great avenue for these students to keep bowling as a youth, rack up a little scholarship money along the way, have a great activity they can do with their friends. And a lot of it's family-based too, because a lot of times they have parents that bowl. Great family activity. And it actually has an opportunity to get them to higher education. And that's what we're all here for in that, that room with those people, right?
Yeah.
And he does a great job with that program. And, it has some good support. But I just imagine if we had that on a nationwide scale with the support that it needs, right, to get that to a lot of school districts in both metro and rural areas, to just give the people the information. Because from my standpoint, it's not a bowl. I mean, we can get into the bowling industry side of it where that could be an issue, but I don't think that's the main point. I think it's awareness. I think it's just getting the people that are mentoring or teaching students of that age what this looks like for them in the future, that this is even an opportunity. We know that what are middle school and high school counselors' jobs? They're to keep the student progressing and eventually get them into college and into a career or into trade school or something like that, right? If that bowling was an avenue to do that, you would think they'd be all over it. But how many counselors in the United States have no idea? And so I think it's an awareness thing. I think it's an education thing. I think the Bowlers Ed program is great, but it needs a little bit more steam behind that engine. It needs a little bit more help and support and people who are willing to give up their time like Louis to do it.
Yeah.
I give him super good props. I think we need to have him on the show at some point too.
That'd be cool.
He's been around the game a long time and can tell a lot of really cool stories, but I think most importantly, talk about his passion for youth bowling and why he's involved in that program.
Did you see the comment from Coach Hayes?
Oh, he's going cruising.
Yeah.
He's doing
in
his
the middle of the ocean. I don't know which one.
Summer vacation before he has to get back to work.
I think he's in the Gulf.
But and I think in Oklahoma, what would something like that do for the state of the high school bowling? I think you get those kids started younger and have your bowling center support that. Because what bowling center doesn't want more people coming in the door right now, right? And if you get the kids, you get their parents.
Yeah.
Vice versa. If you have a really strong league base of parents, guess what's going to want to bowl youth league? Their kids.
Yeah.
So you got to be taking advantage of all avenues. And we talked about the Oklahoma high school bowling scene being more recreational.
Yeah.
I think that's a great place to look.
I agree. Now, let me ask you this. Do you think the documentary Born to Bowl, do you think that had any kind of impact on growing the activity and building interest in the game of bowling?
No, and yes. No to getting people to start bowling or youth into it, because they shouldn't be watching a show with that language. And probably they don't have an HBO Max subscription at that age. I would hope. But yes, in the fact that people that already follow the PBA tour, closely or follow professional bowling on any sense, it helps build those guys up as stars a little bit. I always reference things back to racing. You know this.
Yeah.
I feel like one of the big things NASCAR is struggling with right now is their star power, right? You think back in the 90s, you had Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt, Dale Jarrett. You had these guys, right?
Yeah.
They were the face of the sport. They were on commercials. Their cardboard cutouts were in grocery stores. You had all this going on. And not saying bowling's going to have that kind of reach, but you got to build some of those guys up as stars, because if without star power, your sport's going to struggle. You're not going to have those guys that people can connect to. The bowling ball companies want these guys to be stars because that's how they sell bowling balls.
Yeah.
So it's you start one thing and the boulder rolls downhill. But I don't think that served that purpose, but I think it did serve a purpose within bowling from a motivational standpoint. It's a little bit different. Yeah,
for the fans.
Exactly.
All right. So I have a question. I have a homework assignment for you.
Oh, boy.
Now, recently I moved, and we have, I have YouTube TV, and it just kind of moved with us.
Yeah.
We have fiber optic, great network, all that and everything. But when I turn my TV on in my den, it comes up with the Samsung TV network channels and everything.
Yeah, the
whatever they have,
stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And what's been recently popping up has been the David Letterman show. All right. They have a David Letterman channel.
Yeah.
And it's all reruns. And what was funny is I was watching it last night after the debacle that took place in New York City with the Spurs and which was quite entertaining for a lot of reasons, but
it was,
but anyway, it got me thinking, because obviously the fishing background that I have, has there ever been a professional bowler on a late night talk show like Carson or Letterman or the ones that are currently out there?
In my lifetime, no. I can't speak for back in the 70s, 80s, 90s.
I really would like to have an answer to that question.
I'll do some research.
I know.
I would think in that time period there would have been, but obviously not. I mean,
I don't see it. I kind of looked at YouTube to see if there was anything out on YouTube. I didn't see anything. Obviously, Pete made the rounds with the whole "Who do you think you are?" around ESPN and some of the talk shows that were on ESPN at the time. But do you know that there's actually been a professional fisherman on a late night talk show? Denny Brauer was actually on David Letterman.
Hold on. Yes.
Who was it?
Pete Weber was on once, and Walter Ray Williams Jr.
What shows?
I'm looking.
What was that? Chat GPT?
Of course.
I didn't do that. Yeah, I didn't do that. Boy, I bet that Walter Ray interview was compelling. I'm sure if he was on Letterman, they probably had him do the horseshoe thing out in the back or something.
Don't
see.
Working on it.
All right. The point I'm trying to make with the documentary that came out, and granted, I know late night TV is not what it used to be.
Oh, this is cool. I did find one instance, and it wasn't the people I just talked about. Carmen Salvino was on the David Letterman show in 1997.
Really?
He was the guest bowler, so I guess they had some bowling promo in that one.
Really?
With Evander Holyfield and Sarah Silverman was on that.
Holy cow! That's got to be on YouTube somewhere. You would think.
I would think so. It can't verify, which this is something I'll look up because this makes sense in the time period that bowlers would appear on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson.
Huh.
Which, with that time period, makes a lot of sense. So I'll see if I can find some specific dates and some specific names. And
Don Carter.
Well, next time we have a show, we can kind of walk through it and see.
Don Carter is a big-time trivia question. Who was the first athlete to get $1 million endorsement? It was Don Carter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Carmen Salvino was actually it was, I guess, or something about him being a Hall of Famer was part of the show, but it was the David Letterman show number 831 that he was on. It was July 3rd, 1997.
Carmen making the late night appearance.
Yeah.
So
talk about the guy to have on the late night show, though.
So we can say most likely that somebody from the modern era, the last 25, 30 years or whatever it is, 30 years, that nobody has made an appearance on a late night show. Now, I know they've done the early AM shows like Fox in the Morning.
Yeah.
I know they've done that, but no late night shows. Interesting.
So this is interesting. We might have to look at like what happened the first week in July in 1997, because 3 days in a row there was bowlers on the David Letterman show. So we just talked about Carmen Salvino on July 3rd. Marshall Holman was on the episode on July 2nd. And Nelson Burton Jr. was on July 4th.
Oh, we got to find out. That is epic stuff right there.
Yeah.
Huh.
Don Carter, Dick Weber, they've appeared in the Johnny Carson era on late night shows. So,
but nobody from the modern era, with the exception of Pete. Walter Ray. Nobody in the last 30 years.
No. No modern era.
Okay.
Actually, there's one. Just one. One doesn't really count, but this was like a late night Sports Center thing. Pete Weber was on after the whole 2012 U.S. Open thing.
Yeah.
In 2023 on Jimmy Kimmel's show, Kyle Troop, DJ Archer, and Tom Smallwood were on an episode.
Really? Huh.
Yeah. It was in October of 2023. So I'd be interested to see what the context of that episode was. But outside of that, and then that Sports Center thing, 1997 was the last time a professional bowler was on a late night talk show.
All right. Very nice. That's
their appearance on the Jimmy Kimmel show is labeled as a comedy/sketch segment.
Huh. That's got to be on YouTube somewhere.
It is. It's 1:47. It's on YouTube. Can confirm.
I will.
Found it. I'll send you the link.
That out. Hang on here. How did you search for it?
Just click the link from the news article that it was in.
Oh.
Here, I'll send it to you.
Here, let's see if this works. Oh yeah, here it is right here. Okay, hang on. Let's see if I can. I don't know if you can hear this or not. I don't remember this.
I don't either.
I am shocked that
it's on the House Hack Bowling YouTube channel for anybody that wants to look it up.
Okay. All right, let's see here.
Phenomenon, the likes of which we have not seen since maybe Elvis Presley. Every time this woman goes to a football game, just to see her boyfriend, Kowalski,
hang on.
that other sports now are trying to get some of this Taylor Swift action for themselves.
Hi, I'm Ron Kowalski, Commissioner of the Professional Bowlers Association. Times have been real tough lately at PBA. Viewership is low. Seems like nobody cares about bowling no more. Taylor, if you're watching, could you please find it in your heart to date a pro bowler? We got some real swell fellows on the circuit. Take this kid, for example. Kyle Afrofish Troop. The K-Man set the single season earnings record in 2021, owns 13 regional tour titles. He's a heck of a snappy dresser, and golly, watch him pick out that throw. Hey, maybe you're looking for someone a bit more mature, like DJ Tubby Archer. Sure, he works up a sweat, but Tubby has the softest hands in the whole darn league. Shaking his hand is like petting a baby chinchilla. Or that interest speed.
So this is a playoff. Taylor Swift NFL
winner of the
ratings thing. That's funny.
Award. And don't let his last name fool you. Tom's got a big one. I seen him in the shower one time, and holy baloney. You wouldn't believe it. So please, Taylor, throw us a bone, would you? We hope one of these gentlemen is up your alley, if you know what I mean. That's just a little bowling humor. The Professional Bowlers Association. Please save us.
All right. That wasn't really.
Oh.
That wasn't really a
there you go.
Down.
No.
That was more of a spoof.
You think that did anything for the game of bowling?
Oh, Jonathan.
Yeah, we got problems.
I don't think that did a whole lot, but you never know.
We can't confirm. I think the HBO show did a little more than that.
Really?
But isn't that sad that is the only, like in the last 30 years, the only late night talk show, anything professional bowling related.
And if it wouldn't have been for the Pete Weber thing, it would be crickets.
Right.
Crickets. That's a challenge. And here I'm going to go back to, where does it start, Jonathan? With the kids. With the kids. Yep. And who can have the biggest impact right now? You know, we can talk about coaches and schools and all that and everything. And I don't know if centers are doing anything. I know some centers across the nation are having like summer specials for youth to do things, but
they still have the Kids Bowl free campaign.
Yeah.
Some centers participate in that where the kids can get 2 free games. That's a great opportunity.
Day?
I think so. Yeah. I think it excludes holidays. Maybe
2 free games a day.
Kids
I'd be in the center every single day, man.
All summer long. 2 free games every day. There's over 1,300 bowling centers nationwide that participate in this.
Do they have a list of them by state?
Yeah, you can find a Kids Bowl free center near you. Yeah, they're listed by state.
Huh. I should make all my players go bowl 2 free games every single day. In the summer. Go bowl your 2 games.
There's a lot of bowling centers on this list. Looks like U.S. and Canada pretty much.
Really?
Apparently the Kids Bowl free campaign was on a couple different media outlets: Parenting Magazine, USA Today, Fox and Friends, Oprah Magazine, Better Homes and Gardens, and Real Simple.
Wow.
So
that's cool.
I mean, it's out there. I'd be interested to see participation numbers, like how many signups they have for it.
It's got to start from that ground, that first level. First level's the kids. All right. So was good to get back.
Yeah.
No, it was a good topic, good conversation. And I want to wrap it up just by saying a couple of things. One, student athletes, there is a tremendous opportunity for you out there, but you got to move and you got to make things happen and you have to take the initiative. It's different than other sports, but the opportunities are endless. You got to work hard. You got to stay connected. You have to be assertive and respect what opportunities truly exist out there for you. So if you're a sophomore, junior, or going to be a senior in 2027, hopefully you've started the process already, but massive scholarship opportunity. And it's not paying a $200 entry fee to win $50 in smart money.
Right. And I'll even say just piggyback off that. If you are a graduated senior and you're still looking for opportunities, and I see it on the College Bowling Connections Facebook page all the time. Schools are still looking to fill up roster spots on men's and women's teams. So if bowling in college is still something you're interested in, it's not too late.
Reach out.
Go get in. Yep.
Reach out. All right. We're not going to do a show next week because we are headed to a recruiting event that you have not been to. I went to last year and it was phenomenal. And I can't wait. We're going to Columbus, Ohio. And I signed one of the players from that event that was in Indiana last year, and could not be more excited to get him on campus in August. But we're going to see some really talented kids. We're going to see some kids that there probably is not going to be a single kid there that if they wanted to pursue college bowling, that there would be an opportunity at some school across the country if they really wanted to.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Are you ready to get on the road? We haven't been on the road yet, man.
I know. It's a lot of trips compact in a short time. I mean, you're not going to junior gold, so you have some breathing room in there.
Hey,
but
let me ask you this. I'm gonna put you on the spot. If I flew standby, because I can fly for free. If I get up at 5 a.m. and get the Oklahoma City flight to Atlanta, because most of the time it doesn't matter what time of the year, you can get on the 5 a.m. flight, no problem. And then somehow, some way, get a direct flight to Minneapolis. Would you pick me up at the airport?
Oh yeah.
All right. Now I don't know where I'd stay or where I'd eat.
Covered on that. We can figure that out.
I mean,
here's the most important part.
What's that?
You have a couple days after junior gold to stick around and do some fishing.
I could do whatever, man. I don't pay anything to fly when I go standby because of my son being a pilot.
Right. I'll pick up your fishing equipment on my way because I'm driving. Right.
Yeah.
So I'll pick up the stuff. We'll meet you up there.
You got a boat?
I know some people. We'll get it taken care of. Okay. We'll get all the stuff up there. We'll do the junior gold thing, which
You've fished up there, haven't you?
I have.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing.
A whole different world than fishing in Texas.
The frog bite in the summertime up there is insane. And you cast that frog out about 20, 30 yards and you're just working it on top of all the grass. And then all of a sudden violence on the water.
I could also recruit for our bass fishing team while I'm up there.
You could. Do you have a recruiter for that? I mean, do you have a coach that?
So with club sports, I think one of the cool things about me now overseeing all of club sports is we can bring some further discussion to college athletics on this podcast about other club sports and what they do. Because there's a lot of crossover in some areas, but all the coaches pretty much recruit their own sport internally. Now, some sports like tennis and like golf that we have club programs for, there's also NCAA programs, right? So when we're talking about the opportunity for female bowlers to go club or NCAA, well, these coaches are having that same discussion with all the student athletes they're talking to, right? Commitment levels, financials, all that stuff goes into it. But it's interesting because as they're talking through some of the questions they get and issues they're coming to, I'm like, oh, been there, done that. I know exactly what you're going through. But as far as bass fishing is concerned, I will say in Texas, at least, in our surrounding states, including Arkansas, do a pretty good job as well. A lot of the high school programs do a good job advertising their students for an opportunity. But the coach and GA of the bass fishing program at DBU, they scour all the local tournaments and stuff like that. And, they have a pretty good squad. So
there's a bunch of really talented young anglers with a lot of money because it's not cheap.
They're not anglers, Mark. They're scopers.
Hey, I caught my first scoping fish this past week.
Did you?
Yeah. Active target. I don't have Garmin. I have Lowrance. But yeah, it was pretty interesting. A friend of mine finally got all my electronics dialed in, and then I priced some new stuff. Dude, the equipment, the electronics were worth more than the boat for crap. Like how much? You talk about sticker shock. Holy cow.
But isn't that every sport right now?
Oh, it is. Can you remember
back too?
Well, you weren't young enough, but I remember that Brunswick came out with a bowling ball, and I didn't remember what it was called. It was $200. Right? This was like in the late 80s. And people went crazy. How much? It's like paying $600 for a reel.
Yeah.
A fishing reel. No, I'll take that $99 one over there. The fish don't know any different. I mean, do they know that you're fishing out of a $20,000 boat or a $120,000 boat? No. I always said, hey, did the pins know whether or not it's a hammer or a storm ball? You think they know? Oh yeah, they know. They know.
The discussion that could be had from that.
I know.
But yes, if you do that, we can figure it out.
All right. I'll see if I can work that in. All right. So no show next week. And then when we get back from our trip to Columbus, Ohio, we will do a show that week. We also have a huge announcement that we're going to make on that show. We're going to do something for the first time in the history of college bowling next week, both on the men's and the ladies' side. Will take place on September 19th and 20th in Oklahoma City on brand new synthetic panels. The wood is gone. The wood is leaving on August 3rd. It's out of there.
August.
All right. Take about 2 weeks to get it all dialed in. 16 brand new panels.
Are they matching the other side?
Yep. Everything will look
stuff.
exactly the same. I met with the owner, Kim Denny, today, and everything is locked in, dialed in, firmed up. And I'll throw a little tease out there. Brunswick is going to be the title sponsor of this event. Oh, and by the way, we have also agreed, you know what we're going to get in that is going to be 1,000% dedicated to live streaming only? What do you think that would be? What's all the rage now in connectivity? It's not fiber optic. Starlink.
Not fiber optic? Starlink.
We're going to get a dedicated Starlink
connection. One on top of the building?
On top of the building.
Hey, we need that at St. Clair Bowl.
I don't think we got enough, Cat 6 to be able to run it. But, yeah, that'd be the only way that you'd be able to get a signal if you had a mobile Starlink. But we're not making the trip to St. Louis. We're going to Georgia.
We're not going to St. Louis either.
No, we will be headed to Georgia.
Thinking about that, wouldn't that be such a college bowling thing if a team put a Starlink in the windshield of their van and parked it next to the door, ran a Cat 6 cable in the door?
You could. Yeah, I thought about it. They do have a mobile version because all the live streaming on the water now, the really good quality during the fishing tournaments, they're all using Starlink.
Starlink. Yeah.
It's good, man. It's I mean, you get 500 meg up sometimes.
Well, for anybody that watches all the Storm Chaser live streams on YouTube, they're all using Starlink.
Yeah. I mean, Elon hit a home run with that. Definitely hit a home run. So good show. Lots to talk about. Thank you, Coach Hayes. Enjoy the luxurious sea air and beaches and anything else that you're out there discovering. And we will return in 2 weeks.
Yep.
All right. It's a good show, though. I hopefully people will enjoy kind of our take, and don't be a chaser.
That's right.
Do not be a chaser. Be a doer. Invest the time.
Be aggressive in recruiting.
There we go. It's been a while.
Not the only one struggling with technology. I know.
Hey, you recovered nicely, though.
Hey, your quality looks good, too. So maybe there's something to unplugging it and plugging it back in.
Yeah. And oh, by the way, man, a big shout out to both my men's team and the women's team. And they are working hard this summer. And I could not be more excited. I've got 3 ladies and 3 gentlemen that are coming in the class of 2027. And I'm telling you, Jonathan, I got some good ones. I got some tier 1s. I got some tier 1s coming.
Good.
They're coming for a reason, and they're on a mission. And oh, by the way, real quick, here we can play the music, dude. Hang on. Did you see the subtitle in this? This cracks me up. You did a great job on the story. Hopefully, you found a couple more for me. But this pretty much sums it up right here.
Not a bowling coach.
I'm not a bowling coach.
You're just a coach that knows about bowling.
That's it. So, yeah, man, hook me up because I'm gonna reach out to her.
I'll get you a copy.
And thank her for doing that. All right, that's it. It's hot. But we're out of here. We're staying cool. All right, everybody stay tuned. We're out of here.